My name is Chris Packham. I'm a broadcaster and a naturalist. I've grown up with a lifelong interest in natural history, and at a certain point in my early teens I realised that if I wanted to sustain that interest I'd have to actually make sure that the wildlife was sustained. So I've become an ardent conservation and environmental campaigner, and I'm really pleased to come to Bushey to be involved with this festival, because I think we've reached a time when the people, that's you and I, need to get together, share ideas, share energies and move forward in a positive way. And I'm personally fed up with waiting for other people to do that, so I'm quite keen that we do it ourselves. And this is a great melting pot of the festival at Bushey. You know, it doesn't matter what your interest, what brings you to it, across the spectrum of human interests and concerns, you can end up in a place, whether it's a field or a building or a garden or a school or a library, wherever it is, and meet other people who live around the corner from you who probably share some of your concerns, and together you're stronger. So please meet, talk, share ideas, share a burger, share a beer, but ultimately find a means of empowering yourself to look after this place, because you're best placed to look after it, better than I am. I don't live here, but I'm keen to come and motivate you. I think festivals are a fantastic idea for bringing people together. I think obviously at the onset they bring people with like minds, because there's generally a core of interest at a festival, whether it's a music festival, an arts festival, a science festival. You get musicians, scientists and artists, but they bring other people with them, and it starts to form a community. And what we hope, of course, is that festivals are therefore the germination point, if you like, to connect with a wider community of people and bring them together. And this is going to be intrinsically important for our future. We're about to see massive changes to the way that human beings live on planet Earth, and we've invited those changes. There's climate change, of course, which is going to have a massive impact on the way that we live on the planet. There's our burgeoning human population, which is going to have an even greater impact. So in order to address these things and to make sure that we get through them as best we can, then we need to work together, and working together is best served with a very strong sense of community, and festivals are a brilliant way of instigating, growing, culturing and making sure that that's a profitable thing to do. I think that one of the problems is, at the moment, we have very few people with most of the answers. And those people with the answers have to find a means of communicating to as many other people as possible, to give those people the opportunity to make the best informed decisions. Now, at the moment, given the parlous state of politics and decision making around the world, we're not making the progress that we should. And I think that we're rapidly coming to a point when the people, that's you and I, need to stand together and ask for what we know is right. And this is certainly the case when it comes to environmental care. If we think of our own country, or maybe then Europe, or maybe then the whole world, we can see that there are significant problems which are not being addressed. So we can either wait for them to do it, and I have little faith in them doing it, or we can say, in fact demand, that they do it for us. And I think that's where we're at. And of course, in order to get the people standing up and saying, this is what we need, this is what we want, you need a sense of community. And a great way of growing that sense of community is through drawing people of like minds to things like festivals. I mean, it's about ownership and self-empowerment. Bushey is your part of the world. I live in another part of the world. I can motivate concern for the environment in Bushey because I care for the environment all over the world. But if you come to Bushey and you start talking to me as an outsider about the plight of your high street stores, I'm going to be less concerned personally than I am about the plight of my high street stores, because I live in a different community to you. And that's why community involvement, community conservation even, is the best way forward. If you look after your high street, you benefit from it. If you look after your environment, you benefit from it first. If you fix your environment and fix your high street, you get a feel-good feeling. I get to enjoy it when I come as a visitor, but I don't share that feel-good feeling. And you can't put a price on the feel-good feeling. To think that, if you've self-empowered to think, yeah, I or we are going to make a difference for this community, and then you do it, there's nothing beats that. And that's what I believe is going to, ensure that the correct measures are finally put in place, whether it comes to environmental care or looking after, a diversity of small retail outlets on your high street. Basically, you've got to stand up and be counted. And one of the ways of, sharing ideas and figuring out a method of doing that is to come together in a community, and hence the need for festivals, great gathering places for people. It doesn't matter whether you're singing, drinking, playing music, painting, or talking about the environment. It's a great place where we share our ideas, we learn, and the whole thing becomes synergistic. Synergism is 2 + 2 = 5. And if we don't start to equal 5 soon, we're in big trouble. One of the biggest problems that we face at the moment, I think, is an apathy, a consideration amongst people that they aren't capable of making a difference. And I think I understand the origins of this. We've been going through a time for some period now where we've been ignored. We perhaps vote for people who then don't do the things that we wanted them to do when we voted for them. We reach crisis points and we stand up and ask for the solutions to be implemented that we believe are right, and they get ignored. And I think over a period of time people become disenfranchised, particularly young people. I think that's why we've seen such low turnouts when it comes to the Brexit vote and to any form of political motivation when it comes to young people. They just don't think their vote counts. They couldn't be more wrong. It's not just your vote that counts, it's you that count. You are an individual, but if you do something and your neighbour does it and their neighbour does it, you become a community and you immediately become stronger. And if the Bushey community does something, and then the Watford community does something, and then the Greater London community does something, we get things done. It's about that self-empowerment. It's about recognising that we can all make a difference. And if we share that difference, it grows rapidly. And so you must never underestimate how important, what you do in one place is. Because if we all do what you do, we change the world. It's that simple. And I think if we can just motivate people to summon the confidence, the drive and the energy to self-empower themselves, then we will make that difference. And I'm optimistic, if I'm very honest with you. I think you have to hit rock bottom and then you start on your way up again. And I think if we're not at rock bottom at the moment, then we're in trouble. And I'm already seeing people, who are thinking, I'm not waiting any longer for anyone else to fix these problems. I'm going to do something about it myself. And when myself does it, we self do it, and we make a difference.